when we started Despised Icon, we always say we were established in 2002, but we actually got together as friends and started writing together fall of 2000. It took us a solid year and a half of just writing and rehearsing before we even went public, before we even released our record in 2002 or played our first show, which I believe was the Bloodletting tour with Disgorged, Disavowed. It was a sick package, man. That was a great first show. When we started Despised Icon, we had already been in bands prior to this band. This was like death metal band number 2 or 3 for each and every single one of us. So what we wanted to do with this band and what we tried to achieve is add elements that didn't really fit with traditional death metal. So we added hints of hardcore, hints of grindcore, you know. So obviously earlier on we were heavily influenced by bands like Suffocation, you know. A record like Pierced From Within is timeless for me. Same for Dying Fetus, you know. The groove element is has always been very present in our music, and I have to credit Fetus in part for that, so thank you very much for the inspiration. But also, man, like, we grew up listening to, like, you know, Madball or Biohazard or even like Obituary, man. That shit is groovy, you know? And so we added those elements that didn't necessarily fit properly with our sound at first, but we sort of like made it happen. And I think at first it was kind of hard, because when we started touring 2004, 2005, 2006, we were touring with a lot of death metal bands that influenced us in the first place. Again, Cryptopsy, Suffocation, Immolation, Morbid Angel, and so on and so forth. And those traditional metal fans were just not having it, man. I remember just being flipped off over almost every night, and it was a test of character, so to speak. But all of a sudden, come 2006, 2007, you know, bands like Suicide Silence popped off. Same for Job for a Cowboy, Oceano, my dear friends in Carnifex, Whitechapel, and yeah, they just contributed to this deathcore genre and made it what it is now. And, you know, granted, we broke up for like 5 years, but they kept on going strong. They didn't take any breaks, and I feel like deathcore now is stronger than ever because of that. It's not seen or perceived as just like this hype thing or like just some trend, some fickle trend. It's here to stay, and I'm quite proud to have contributed to that. But when we did start out, there were no bands like us, you know. I do feel like us and the Red Chord on the East Coast were some of the first bands to do it. Same for Deadwater Drowning. You guys probably don't know that band, but you should look them up. I do feel, as an artist, it is important to sort of push the envelope and demonstrate a certain form of growth or evolution within your music, because it is a reflection of who we are as individuals. And I would like to think that I'm not stuck at the same spot I was 5 years ago. You know, I'm in constant evolution, always trying to better myself, and I apply that same approach to our music. So it is important for us to come up with fresh ideas, so that we don't just copy-paste the same type of material on every record. But that being said, you know, we're in our late 30s, early 40s. A lot of people would expect us at our age to sort of like soften up, and I feel like with this record we went even more extreme. And nowadays things are a lot more accessible, a bit more commercial within this type of music, I feel. And I feel like our way of standing out is actually going more extreme and doing what's not necessarily expected of us. And the beauty of being Despised Icon is, I don't know, man, we just play Despised Icon.